trying to film here. Will is setting up to do an alignment today. And I want to have a video where we talk about the importance of alignments, what they do for your driving, what they do for your van, and why they're important to have done regularly, especially after suspension change. We align every van that we install rip kits on. Basically, anytime we're replacing the front strut or a suspension component that adjusts any portion of the alignment, whether it be camber, caster, or toe, we're realigning the vehicle. What an alignment does for you is ensures that both your front wheels and your rear wheels are tracking straight and true together. You don't have one wheel pointed in the opposite direction of another. That would be your toe. You make sure that your camber is right, so as you're looking at the front of the vehicle, your wheel's tilted in or out, that's going to be negative or positive camber. That's also going to affect how you drive, whether the van wants to track straight or wants to pull to one side or another, or wants to wear tires quickly. The other thing that we'll look at is caster. Not every vehicle has a caster adjustment. On the Sprinter, it doesn't have a caster adjustment. Caster is essentially, if you come over here to the side of the vehicle, caster is this angle here, so wheel forward or aft from center line. There's not a caster adjustment on the Sprinter, so what we'll be looking at is camber and toe. That really affects how your tires wear. So anytime you remove the front strut, which just here you can see the coilover assembly. If you come around here, I'll point at the strut for you. This is the front strut. You can see two attachment bolts right there. Anytime you remove those bolts, you're changing the camber on the van, and it absolutely will affect your alignment and hence your driving performance and tire wear and fuel economy, other things like that. So anytime you remove that strut, it's very important that you realign the vehicle. Anytime you hit a big bump, like a pothole or smack a curb in a parking lot, and then your steering wheel is kind of cocked to one side and not straight as you're going straight down the road, that's a sign that you need to get in alignment. What will happen if you're out of alignment, say a camber adjustment or a toe adjustment, your tires will wear unevenly. If your camber is off, you can wear the inside or the outside of the tire. If your toe is off, you can cook the same thing. You can cook one portion of the tire or really excessively wear one tire versus another. So that's one clue that you have an alignment issue, is if you're looking at your tires doing a pre-trip inspection, you see one spot that's worn far more excessively than another, it's a good chance that you need an alignment. Anytime that you go to a shop and you have struts changed or any suspension component changed, we recommend an alignment. I do one on my van just routinely, at least once a year, just to ensure that everything's still true. Tires are expensive, and alignment is cheap compared to a set of front tires. So it's really good preventative maintenance, especially if you're driving the van hard, off-road, hitting bumps, things like that. There are shops out there that will tell you you do not need an alignment after they do suspension install, after they do your lift kit or your strut replacement. That is absolutely false. You really do need an alignment. It's very important for the life of your tires and for the drivability of the van. As an example, these vans are super sensitive to steering angle for the wheel. So if your alignment is so far off, we've seen this. We've seen them come in the shop where the van had an active brake assist warning on the dash. It was inoperative. Initially, we thought it was the aftermarket bumper. Come to find out, after talking with the customer and scanning it with Zentry, we found that the alignment was so far off from the lift kit that the customer had installed before coming to our shop that the steering angle sensor was way out of spec. So because the steering wheel was so far sideways, the van thought it had been in an accident and there was a major problem. So it would not allow any of your ESP modules to work or the active brake assist functions at all to work. So we had to align the van, recenter the steering wheel, and immediately all that went away and the van functioned like normal. So there are things that can that the alignment can affect more than just the tire wear on the outside of the van. It can affect all of the systems in the van if it's far enough out. So if you're not sure if you had an alignment after your last suspension install, it's good to come in and get it done. We do them here in-house. We'll do a suspension install and alignment same day if you request it. So we do a ton of these. It's a really good piece of preventative maintenance that you can do to make sure that your van is performing optimally when you're driving it. So we're going to show you as Will prepares this vehicle for alignment, gets the heads on. First thing that he's doing right now is he's setting tire pressure. And then another key thing to think about when it comes to tire life is rotations. You'll want to rotate your tires. I recommend at a minimum every 5,000 miles. I do it a lot more often because it's easy for me. We have the shop here. But if you can, at a minimum every 5,000 miles, get those tires rotated. It's really going to save on your uneven wear, especially up front. You'll start to get a little corner wear. You might start to get a little bit of cupping, especially if you've been running lower pressures. Keeping those rotated and keeping that tire wear even is really key to being able to drive down the road, not have a bunch of feedback through the wheel, not having it pull in one way or the other, and maximize the life of your expensive tires. So we'll show you the alignment process here as Will gets it set up and we run through it, and then we'll go test drive the van, make sure that everything tracks perfectly, steering wheel centered as you're going down the road straight, make sure it holds the road crown like we want it to, and then this customer's ready to go. So right now we're going through the setup process where we roll the van forward and backwards. We make sure the heads are lined up with the machine. And then we turn the wheels left, right, center, and then center the steering wheel so we can set our toe and make sure our steering wheel is straight. So that's it's just part of the setup process here that we go through. Obviously you can see our lift has turn plates so that the front tires can turn while it's on the lift. So we've done our initial rollout, and here we're looking at some of the values on the van currently as it sits. This is immediately post suspension install. So we can see here on the front wheels, this is your camber. The right hand side is a little bit positive. It's all in the green. You could send this down the road right now and it would be totally good. But we're gonna go ahead and move this one in just a little bit more to center, and we'll get the total camber to be right in the blue. When it's light blue, that's super optimal. Green is acceptable. Here you see the toe. So once we adjust the camber, then we'll move to the toe. Right now our wheels are pointed a little bit to the right. As if you were sitting in the van, the wheels would be pointed to the right. So this thing would probably pull to the right pretty hard. So what we're gonna do is readjust that so that both wheels are pointed straight forward after we adjust the camber. So Will is jumping in right now to adjust the camber while it's on the rack. Essentially what we'll do is loosen those two nuts on the side that we need to adjust. We'll loosen it and we'll let that front tire slack in towards itself more upright. So I think the passenger side is what we're going to adjust right now. So it's a little bit positive. So we'll slack off that front tire, let it stand up a little straighter, and you'll see that total number change as he adjusts it. So as Will's adjusting that, you can see how it's changed. It already went way negative on our camber. So we're gonna have to push that wheel back out now. It doesn't take a lot to make a big difference on here. So we'll push it back out and you'll see that camber number go back to the middle of the green. Yeah. Go a little bit more. There you go. These two bolts, then we're going to adjust the camber on the left and watch the numbers center up here. Bottom?
Look at it now.
Yeah.
Oh, I got it.
I saw you moved it. Ready?
Yep.
Okay.
Just tighten it there.
Ready?
Got it.
There we go. So you can see both camber numbers are within the light blue, which is exactly where you want it. So the camber looks great. Now we're going to adjust the toe, which again is which direction your tires are pointed. And your toe could be out both in the same direction or one in each direction, or one straight, one off to the side. So we'll adjust that so both track evenly going down the road. And that adjustment is right here. So we'll loosen this jam nut and then turn the tie rod and adjust whether the wheels are, you know, straight or not. So that's obviously the wrong way, so we'll go the other direction. Okay, I'm gonna do the other side before I set them. Go. There we go. So now everything's blue and our total in the middle is right where we want it. So nice and even. Both tires are going to go straight down the road. So at this point, we'll go ahead and print out the final report. We'll put the pertinent information in for the vehicle, mileage and such, technician name, and then we can print out a report so that the customer can have a readout of the alignment, the final alignment report. Then we'll go ahead and pull the heads off the wheels and go take it for a test drive. We didn't talk too much about the rear. On a solid axle van like this, there's not a lot you can do with the rear, but we do check it. So we can check camber on the rear wheels, we can check toe, and also thrust. Thrust is how straight your axle is in the van. So if your thrust was way, way off, we may be able to loosen the U-bolts and bump things around a little bit to try and get that axle a little straighter. But there's a lot of times where there's just not much adjustment when you go to tighten that all up on a solid axle vehicle like this. So for the most part, you're gonna see all the adjustments being made on the front, unless it's a real extreme case where we really need to address the rear. But for the most part, we're doing everything up front here. Again, we'll go drive it, make sure it drives straight down the road. All right, folks. Appreciate you watching the video. Things got a little loud in the shop, so I jumped up here to the office to wrap things up. Hopefully, this video helped explain a little bit about what an alignment is, what it will do for your vehicle, and kind of the process of getting that done. Again, thanks for watching. We really appreciate it. And comment below if you have an idea for another video that you want to see, something that we do here. We'd love to get your input and create some content around those installs that interest you. So thanks again.